What's up, guys? Emo Cat Dad here, hanging out with you, bringing you yet another edition of Emo Cat Dad Listens. If you're new here, thanks so much for stopping by. What I do is every day of 2024, I vow to check out a new band or artist. Check out 4 songs from across their discography, give you my initial thoughts on the songs, give you my ranking of the songs, and then, of course, give you my overall thoughts on the artist. I'm recording this first thing in the morning. It's a good time for me to do it, and also because, I have these dark circles under my eyes, so it matches today's artist, Termina. For those that don't know Termina, it's the project of Andy who is a vocalist for like 26 bands, I'm pretty sure, and of course YouTuber Nik Nocturnal. So this was a suggestion that I've been meaning to get to for a little while, so happy to finally get around to it and check it out. So I know Andy has like a pop punk project and a rock project, and he sings in Monuments, which is like a metal group. So I know his vocal range is pretty all over the place, given that. Nik Nocturnal's a straight up shredder, so I'm expecting shreddy music with pretty strong vocals. So we're going to see what we get, because I have never dived into Termina before. I think I might have heard one song in passing on a podcast or something, but that's about it. So without any further ado, let's get into Termina. Alright, so the first song I checked out appears to be the first song they ever released back in 2019. They later on put it on their debut album called Dysphoria, and the song's called Lucid. Please wake up. So Andy has a lot of different vocal styles going on here. So definitely has a crazy range. I don't like all the styles. I've made it clear on these things before. I don't like the deathcore style vocals. I don't like the risecore style vocals. He does both in parts, but I wouldn't say either is done to the point where I'm annoyed at them. But the real star is Andy singing in the chorus specifically. That's the best part of the song. Let's turn the spotlight over to Nik here for a second. Nik shredding does take center stage, as I expected. However, the drums are in there pretty high in the mix, and I did not expect that. I'm assuming it was programmed drums, but maybe one of them plays, or they had a session musician. Either way, I was happy to see them so high up in the mix and also take a pretty important role in the song. Alright, next up, I checked out the song Desolate Spectre, which was also released on that Dysphoria album. So vocally on this song, Andy basically stays in the harsh vocal realm, which isn't always a bad thing. I enjoy some unclean vocals, especially some that he did on the last track. But this really does play in like the deathcore, risecore realm for most of it. He does have just some regular harsh style vocals, but honestly, there was just no melody to any of it. I did not enjoy the song. I tried getting past the vocals at about halfway through when I realized, okay, this is just how the song is. Let's try to focus on the other stuff happening. And although I could pick out a few cool production elements that they added in, Nik shredding was just kind of similar to what I had heard on the last track and in other metal songs. I couldn't really come up with too many things that I enjoyed about this song. Alright, so we're going to jump to their most recent album, which was released in 2023, but the first song I checked out was the song Translucent that they released back in 2022. Okay, so we get some cleans here. Again, only in the chorus. Before the first chorus hits, we do get like a spoken word pre-chorus, which I enjoyed quite a bit, but it doesn't come back. But now looking back on it, I wonder if it was so much that I enjoyed it, or I was just happy that the harsh vocals in the verses were done. Because again, this was very similar to the last song in that regard. I did not enjoy any of the harsh vocals. Alright, last and certainly not least, I hope, I checked out Take Flight from the Soul Elegy album. Alright, so we get a good start, we get the scream, and the music seems much more melody driven after the last 2 tracks. Very excited to hear that. And yeah, still there's some vocal parts I don't like, but the fact that there's actually a solid melody to this track basically saves it. And honestly, I was really down on this band, as I'm sure you heard, up until the song, but the song thankfully saved it a little bit. Alright, so those are 4 songs I checked out. Let's rank them. At number 1, Take Flight, no doubt in my mind. This, basically, I enjoyed the whole song. Like I said, some vocal parts that I did not like, but those are easily overlooked. At number 2, we're going Lucid. This was by far the best song that I had heard through the first 3, and I didn't even feel like I loved it that much upon first listening to it, but the next 2 tracks kind of solidified that this was maybe going to be as good as it gets for Termina. Thankfully, Take Flight swooped in and actually made an enjoyable song for me by the band. But Lucid still had a lot of good parts, and overall, I'm happy with it. At 3, we're doing Translucent. This is basically from that one pre-chorus we get, and the chorus being enjoyable. Overall, I don't think I'd go back to the song because, again, there's still most of it that I did not enjoy, but the chorus is enough to get it in front of our number 4 track, which is, of course, Desolate Spectre, which the best I could say is, oh, they did some cool production things in there. Yeah. Alright, so my overall thoughts on Termina, and this may surprise you given how negative I was towards basically 2 of the songs, but I do think that both Andy and Nik are super talented. Andy showed on Lucid all the different things he could do with his voice, and Nik shreds through all of these songs. And honestly, I'm not sure if they both write lyrics or just Andy, but the lyrics are very strong across all 4 of these tracks. But they just make choices with Andy's vocals to do the things that aren't to my personal taste, and therefore I do not enjoy. But there's no denying Andy's a great vocalist, and the musicianship and even the production elements are top-notch as well. Just not to my specific taste with the vocal stylings, which honestly took me out of it. Alright guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me and checking out Termina. I hope you come back tomorrow for more Emo Cat Dad Listens. In the meantime, there's a whole slew of the backlog of these if you just stumbled upon this because you saw Handsome Nik or Handsome Andy in the thumbnail and you want to hit that and see who the ugly guy was on the thumbnail with them. That's me. But I want you to be a part of the conversation. Are you a big Termina fan? Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the band. Is there one of Andy Cizik's other 26 projects you think I would enjoy more based on what I said here? Please let me know that as well. I'd love to hear what you guys think, and I want you to be a part of the conversation. Also, feel free while you're in the comments to give me suggestions on other bands or artists I should check out. We're not even out of March yet, so I have a lot more of these to do. So I hope you guys stick around with me for that. And the best way to stick around is to simply cut my wrists and hit subscribe. I'm your friendly neighborhood Emo Cat Dad signing off. Until next time, I want to hear you sad.